Hey blockheads, this is DJ AK the Amanda Knight, and I'm here to let you know that my so-called whatever podcast and No More Games Radio have joined forces. Listen to No More Games Radio on Sundays at 2 p.m. for your favorite episodes of my so-called whatever podcast, and maybe a live episode? Who knows? Tune in to my so-called whatever podcast for upcoming No More Games radio features and exclusive stories from our staff and DJs. And as always, follow us on social media at No More Games Radio and at my so-called whatever. Hang tough!
Friends forever, that's what we are. Through the thick and the thin, we're friendship stars. We're banger main buddies from the days of old. We laugh, cry, and hug, friendship solid gold. My so-called whatever started a year ago. We share our stories and your stories were told. 80s, 90s memories that give us glee. And on the block party shows and KOTB. Now our friendship circle has grown by far. Hashtag friends forever, that's what we all are. Boom! And if you don't know, now you know. My so-called whatever for life. Hashtag MSCW. Hashtag friends forever. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a really good episode.
Yeah, you guys.
We should intro.
Let's intro. Let's do it.
Okay. And then we're going to get into it. All right.
Right.
This is Brooke.
And this is Nikki.
And this is my so-called whatever.
It is. And we are today reviewing the show or the movie or the documentary called Kid90 by Soleil Frye.
It just came out Friday.
It did. And I want to say before we start that we will be talking about suicide and depression. So if that bothers you, maybe this isn't the episode for you to listen to. Maybe listen to one of our older episodes or wait till next week.
Right.
So
yeah, definitely.
Just want to put that out there. So can you believe that she had all of those videos and photos and everything? I was so jealous when she was first.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean,
me too. She documented everything.
I know. And it reminded,
like, how smart.
Yeah. It reminded me of a show that I used to watch that somebody used to talk into the video camera. And I couldn't remember what show it was that they were like filming their, like, it was like their diary. It's probably like a show that was on like when we're older. But anyway, I couldn't remember what show it was because she, like, everything she did, she documented pretty much.
Yeah, like everything.
She even kept her voicemails, which I thought was really cool.
I love that.
I know.
I have an answering machine tape somewhere.
Me too. I came across
to find it
like just a few months ago, and I kind of want to buy something so I can listen to it because.
Oh, I wish you would, because I want to listen to mine too.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
like the little
I'll
tapes.
look on Amazon after this and see if I can find. I'm sure it's not that expensive.
I mean, yeah, as long as it's not expensive. Like, don't spend a lot of money on it, or if it is, I'll split it with you.
Right. I'm thinking I won't buy it if it's over $20, but
yeah, good call.
Yeah. So. This was, I have to say, I cried watching it.
I did not, but that's not surprising. I don't cry very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was sad in parts. It was depressing.
That's what it was for me. And with the week that I had last week, probably wasn't a good thing for me to watch, but I did.
Right.
And I enjoyed it more than it was bad for me. So
right, you enjoyed it more than it made you sad.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. It was really interesting, like right in the very beginning. And I know you have good notes. I don't have good notes. I just watched it. Mm-hmm. But at one point in the beginning, when she said, or one of them said, there were like 12 or 13 of us kids.
Right.
In Hollywood doing this.
Green.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all knew each other, and like we were all friends. Like that was it.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Like thinking back, they were like the popular like kids on like TV.
They're like the ones that are in my magazines that I get.
Exactly.
From 91, 92, 93.
Right. And that's what's so fascinating to me is like while I was watching it, I was thinking about them being like the kids in the magazines, remembering them. And then I would be willing to bet if we were to go through and watch this again of some of like her, like them hanging out like in public or at events or whatever, we could find like the same outfits.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? In like those magazines, like, because sometimes they would have candid type shots.
Right.
For like the posters.
Right.
So I think that's kind of cool.
It is really cool
to think about, because then we got like a window into that reality.
Right. And we even got a window into her like life as a child. Like I didn't really think about it, but oh my God, she got to meet Nancy Reagan and probably Ronald Reagan too. And
I know yeah.
And she rode on Mr. T's shoulders at some point. I don't know if that was in the video. She was riding on somebody's shoulders. I don't think it was Mr. T, but I remember her
that
on
was
Mr.
the Just
T's.
Say No thing.
It was.
Yeah. On Mr. T's shoulders, I don't remember if that was a Just Say No thing, but I do remember like I remember that whole thing.
I feel like it was Hands Across America, maybe.
And honestly, when I was a kid, because we are a few years younger than her.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, she was just that much older. I looked up to her so much.
Me too.
I thought she was everything. Like she was so pretty. She was so cool. And obviously, like I only knew her as like Punky Brewster.
Right.
And like what I'd see in the magazines. But I always thought she seemed like such a good friend, like someone I'd want to be friends with and someone that I'd want to be like.
And I think we're right. I mean, seeing those videos, I feel like we would have gotten along great. Because she just was a kind person. Right. And she was fun to be around. And probably still is. I mean,
and also normal.
Yes.
Like
her
any
house,
other teenager.
Right. I mean, her house was very normal. Very normal. By the way, she was born in 1976. I did include dates of everybody when they were born, so we can kind of like get an idea of how old they were. So she was born in 1976. So she's 44 years old now as of today. But yeah, like, I just think it's very interesting to kind of put ourselves too while you're watching it. I don't know if you guys do this. It might be selfish of me to do it, but I always put myself in her shoes and like think about, okay, 1994, what was I doing in 1994? You know, like, Same. Okay, you do it too. Okay. So
yeah, like when they specifically, there was like an Easter. I don't remember what year it was, but she was recording on Easter. And I remember thinking, oh, I wonder what I was doing that Easter. Because I like to think like where I was the moment, like when they showed, and this is kind of getting ahead, but when she showed her video of them, like her family watching the O.J. Simpson chase. And I was like, I know right where I was in that moment. And like, that's what she was doing in that moment.
Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool.
I love that. It's just like, we're all, no matter where you come from or who you are or how much money you have or fame or success or failure or whatever, like we all have these same, like similar experiences.
Right.
Whether it's O.J. Simpson or even just like trying a cigarette when you're 15 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like just
I totally
stuff like that.
do. And you know what's interesting is I feel like teens today and kids today, they have their whole life documented because they're constantly taking pictures because they have their phones on them all the time, constantly taking videos. Like they're going to appreciate that depending on what they were doing. You know, the internet is forever, but they they have the ability to go back in time, and now with technology, to a certain date and time of what they were doing at that particular moment. Just like today, I looked at my pictures from a year ago today, and
that's crazy.
I had a picture of all my hand sanitizer that I must have texted you.
Probably, yes.
And a picture of Elvis, and he was tiny, tiny, tiny.
Oh,
so
little baby Elvis.
Yeah, I just think it's really neat to think that. I mean, I really wish I had that. I feel like I was lucky enough that I constantly had a camera in my hand, like not a video camera, but a camera. So I have a lot of great pictures of my friends and family because we were constantly taking pictures. We were a picture family. But I wish I had that video. We do have some video. We have some video.
It's not quality video.
It's not
like us hanging out talking. I wish it was us hanging out talking.
No, me too.
It is us acting a fool.
Acting a fool is the correct term. Yes. Especially me doing some things that I didn't know what I was doing, and it meant something else, and we won't go there.
You didn't know.
I had no idea. But I had no idea what it meant. So yeah, I mean, I think that it was just really neat that she had all this stuff. And I loved the video of her like dragging it into the office. Like, yeah, that was really cool because it's like it was all in a bin. And it's like she was bringing it in to be like, here it is. Opening and can I just say she's beautiful? I mean, all really through. Is. I mean, again, always thought she was gorgeous. Wanted to look like her. Wanted to be her because she just has the best personality. And I don't know. I feel like we got a little bit of a window into her life, and it's really cool. Like New Kids on the Block, when you meet somebody who's famous or get a window into their life. And they're exactly what you thought they were, pretty much. That you're not disappointed, which that's hard to put on stars. Like, I'm going to be disappointed in you because you're not like Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell, Mark Paul Gossler. Right. So you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying that there is a saying to never meet your idols, and so far we've been pretty lucky.
We have been pretty lucky. Knock on wood.
I mean, Joey McIntyre, let me tell you, I it's not that I was a little nervous. I loved him so much. Yeah. I loved him so much that I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was scared that maybe I would say something to offend him and it would all be over. You know what I mean? But he's not like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't, not at all. Like if I said something that offended him, which I never would, I don't think, intentionally, then I don't know. He was everything and more. I always say that he was everything and more than I could have ever hoped for. So,
which is awesome. And that's what we hope it to be. And I feel like Soleil, I feel like she would be just as genuine in person as she seems on this documentary. And then what you've seen of her like in the past too.
Right. Because this was all real. This was all like, this is the shit I did. I was a teenager. And it's just like she said, she lived life. She wanted to get out there and just live. And she did. And no regrets. As far as I know, she doesn't have any regrets. But yeah, it was just, if you guys haven't seen this documentary, I totally recommend maybe pausing us, go look at it, go watch it and then come back. Because it
was really good. It's on Hulu. So should we talk about the people that were in it?
I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
It's insane.
Right.
And I know you have a list right in front of you.
I do. I have a list because a lot of it there were some people that I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
Like they looked familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on like where I'd seen them. So I really wanted to go back and research these people and the different places she talked about and all kinds of different things. I went and researched everything. So like Stephen Dorff. Okay.
Can we just say
hello?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. How are you doing?
I was not like, I never
sir.
I never knew.
Oh my gosh. Totally forgot he was in the Crying video, Aerosmith. Totally forgot he was.
That's right, he was.
Totally forgot. He's 47 years old today. So he was 3 years older than Soleil.
Today, meaning as of today.
As of right
now.
He
doesn't turn it today.
As of today, March 13th, 2021. Because some of you guys are listening to this and it's probably 2022, 2023. And it's the future. Right, it's the future, which is really cool to think of. Like you guys are.
I know. Weird.
It's in the future. But yeah, and he was in a movie that scared the shit out of me as a kid.
What movie?
The Gate.
I never saw it.
OMG. It's friggin' scary. They like open up this gate to hell. And
that sounds awful.
Oh my God, it scared the shit out of me. Didn't remember him being in it, but he was in it. I don't know what character he was, but when I saw The Gate, I was like, oh my God. Scary movie. I also quickly want to talk about Camp Cottontail because I would have absolutely loved to go there because all the stars went there.
Yeah.
And I think it closed in 2007, which is sad. The website's no longer working. So I tried to.
That's a good indication it's no longer open.
Right. It's in. Okay. So I got I don't know if Malibu Canyon is the same as Calabasas. I don't know.
I mean, is it a town? I mean, Calabasas is.
One place I looked said Malibu Canyon. One place I looked said Calabasas. So
maybe Calabasas is in Malibu Canyon?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But anyway, they used to go to this camp.
California people will know. They're they're saying it out loud right now.
They are.
But that's where the camp was.
Right. And I would have loved to go there. I also would have loved to hook up with Brian Austin Green. I'm just going to put it out there.
I mean, how about now?
I mean, oh my God. Talk about aging like a fine wine.
For real.
Mean,
and what honestly, again, this is only what we can take from what we watch.
Correct.
He seems like such a nice guy.
Genuinely nice. Just like.
Yeah.
And he was so cute back then. I mean.
Yep. I mean, he was. I remember.
I didn't realize he's as old as he is. I thought he was just a little bit older than us. I mean, he's not that much older. He's 47. For some reason, I thought he was just a couple years older than us. And then I was like, 90210. I was pretty young when 90210 came out. So yeah. But
well, he looks good.
There was just a sad part with him that he said his house was the exact opposite of Soleil's house. And I was just my heart dropped. I was just I'm so sorry, Brian Austin Green. He also later on in the video talked about his solo album that he did. And I remember that coming out. I remember people not liking it at all. And just to hear him talk about to go from everybody loving you and loving everything about you, and you didn't really think about things until people started to hate on you. And then it was what am I wearing? Am I wearing the right things? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And it's so true. It's so true.
And it's sad, but it's also reality.
It is.
Especially as a kid.
Yeah. So do you want me to keep going through the list and I'll let you comment?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I think that's perfect.
So then there was Heather Mccomb.
So what was she in?
So first of all, she's 44 years old as of today, was born in 1977. She was married at one point to James Van Der Beek from 2003 to 2010.
Okay. Maybe that's where I know the name.
She was in the show The Outsiders. I think it was the show, not the movie. I could be completely wrong, you guys. I could be completely wrong. But I think based on her age, I'm pretty sure it was the show. And she was on Party of Five as well.
Okay.
So that was her. She's in there. She seemed to be somebody that popped up a couple times. Yeah. And then there's Mark Paul Gossler.
I loved when he said that he had a crush on her.
I didn't catch that.
Yes, he said he had a crush on her. Like when he talked about when he was on Punky, and when he came in to meet her, she was so like nice and bubbly and friendly, and how he was like in awe because he like already had a crush on her and whatever. I just thought it was really cute.
That's adorable. And
I love that episode.
That explains at the end when she was talking about who she was in love with. There was like a video recording and he was listening to it and she said Mark Paul.
Yeah.
And his mouth was like, what? Like that was what she said. Joey Lawrence, Mark Paul Gossler.
I don't remember. There was
Charlie Sheen, I believe. She said in part of the movie, she said like Johnny Depp.
Yes, she wanted to marry him, or or Charlie Sheen.
Right.
I think it was Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
Which was crazy.
I know.
Because she lost her virginity to Charlie Sheen. And like,
I love that.
You guys take a step back. Like, it was hard for me to forget what we've heard about him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was a gentleman to her. However,
he was significantly older.
And she was a teenager. So
I mean, right.
I don't know.
Right.
Things were different back then. It's no excuse. I'm not making excuses for that.
No, and as an 18-year-old girl, or however old she was, I didn't do the math. I mean, not that I did the same thing, but I could see where you would not feel that was weird.
Right.
As an 18-year-old.
Right. I don't think I would have thought it was weird. If an older, I'm just going to put it out there, back then. Now.
And he wasn't 50.
No.
He was like 29.
Right.
Charles Sheen?
Charles. Soleil, this is Charles. That's from like the messages that he left. But, and also like, it just was hard for me to not think about what Corey Feldman has said about him, because I loved Corey Haim so much.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, okay? Corey Feldman has said some things now that are coming true, that people were like, dismissed him, said he was crazy, said he was a fool, just because he's like a little like
different.
He's just different. And
he's eccentric.
That's the word I'm looking for. But that's the thing, you guys, like things are now coming true of what he said.
Right.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah. So he's not so crazy after all, I guess. And you just see it. I always thought he seemed like a really nice guy, Corey Feldman. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he was one of the Coreys. Come on. You know? He was in the Goonies.
I was just going to say, have some respect.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, if he was a bad person, it would be different, but I don't think he's a bad person.
I haven't heard really any. I mean, maybe there is stuff out there because, you know, you can always dig up something on somebody.
Right.
You know?
But we're not looking for that.
We're not looking for that, because I wouldn't want people looking at me like that, because I've done some stupid stuff in the past. I'm going to say that. I've been a not so nice person a couple times, but, you know, like, I'm sure. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure I have been. And
well, I mean, like, I've been to court.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've been to court.
I've been to court.
Yep.
I get it. If someone wanted to dig up my past. Right. Whatever.
Right.
Don't judge me on something I did when I was a teenager.
I did a lot of stupid stuff. I did a lot of stupid things. A lot. So anyway. So yeah, that's that little tangent. But then we need to talk about Balthazar Getty. Balthazar Balthazar. I can't say his name ever.
I don't know. They were calling him Balt in the video. So
also did not know. I had to do some research because he was like in all the magazines. He was in Lord of the Flies, but I was trying to find like other stuff that he was in.
Yeah.
He was in some other stuff, but he was like in all the magazines. And he
was always in the magazines.
He is a member of the Getty family, which I think they're oil tycoons.
Oh.
I think that's what I gathered.
They're like rich.
Yeah. They come from old money, I believe.
Yeah.
Which doesn't matter. But
no, it doesn't.
It's neither here nor there. But he was born in 1975, so he was a year older than Soleil. But I mean, again, these are all the people that were in the magazines, 91, 92, 93, 94. You know what I mean? Like they were in the magazines.
I love it.
And I'm going to admit, I always wondered where Soleil was. I was like, why isn't she doing anything? I remember getting really excited when she was on the Wonder Years.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel really bad because of the role she played.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her being, I think I remember her being on Saved by the Bell. But I
don't know if I remember that episode or not.
Yeah, I was like, it kind of rings a bell, but maybe not.
I remember her being on Friends.
I don't remember her being on Friends.
I remember her on Friends.
But then again, I didn't watch Friends, so
right.
I probably wouldn't. But I've been watching it, so I haven't come across that episode yet, I don't think. Yeah.
She plays Joey's girlfriend that beats him up.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that.
Not like she doesn't mean to beat him up.
Oh, she's the one that keeps punching him.
Yes.
She's remember.
Like, you're so funny.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I remember now. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, yeah.
Can we talk about Robin Thicke? Can we please talk about Robin Thicke in the video?
Okay. He was only in it for like a moment.
And he like pulled out a pack of Camels. I was like, oh my God.
And he was like a kid.
I know. That's the only one. Oh my God. I did not. Hold up. I got to find out when he. Hold up. Because he was.
I think he's only like a year or two older than we are.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't think he's that much older than us. Maybe I'm wrong.
He was born in 1977. So he's only a couple years older than us.
Right.
So he was hanging out with all these older people. He's like, look at me and the camels. I got camels.
He looked like a little boy.
He did.
Because he was.
Right. Which reminds me of this other TikTok, totally off topic, that I watched today about Joey McIntyre. And this guy knew him from school, and I asked him to be on the podcast. They were like
I took that upon myself.
Yes, I did. Sorry. I hope you don't mind that I did, but I asked him to be on the podcast. A couple people tagged us in it. So I was like, it was great. So anyway, and Joey looked like he was 9 and he was in middle school. Like, he was like 14.
Little baby.
Yeah, he was just a little baby. So then we have Nicole Solomon. I had to look her up.
I don't know who that is.
She's like a producer director, I guess, from what I've gathered, but I couldn't find anything. I mean, maybe she was related to people that were, or just were friends with the rest of the kids,
people. Yeah.
And then I wrote what we just discussed. What happened after Punky? Well, she got her breast reduction, which I can see why she got it. Like, I can totally understand.
She was 15.
She was 15 years old, and that must have hurt her back.
I mean, she's a tiny person.
She's so tiny.
She is a very small person. I don't know how tall she is, but she's very, very small.
And I have to say that I can remember looking at the People magazine and getting pissed when I was little. Like,
me too.
Or younger. Because it was very offensive what they said. And I always knew breast reduction surgery it's not really cosmetic. It's like, you're trying to, because I don't think people understand it's mostly men. I'm just going to put it out there. Don't understand what it's like to have breasts that are that weigh as much as a watermelon, or, I don't know, maybe not a
Right.
watermelon, but like, they're
But no,
heavy.
but to walk, I mean, to walk around and like that, it really does, like that. I don't have that problem. Like, it's not that it's a problem, but you know what I mean? I don't have that issue, but I know people that have or do. And that really, it does. It takes a toll on like your posture, your back, your shoulders, everything. And that isn't good for your body.
No.
Like, I'm sorry. It's just not. And at some point, like, something has to give.
Right.
And if if you need, and if you have a reduction, it's not because you want to look a certain way or whatever. And maybe in part it is, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. You do whatever you want to do. Just like if you want to get big ones.
Exactly.
Do it.
If you're self-conscious and it's preventing you from doing things that you love to do, I don't care what it is, do whatever you need to do to be happy.
Exactly. But it does. I mean, at some point, like she is a tiny person. And she had like, what did she say? They were like going on
F's. Yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
F. She's what? Maybe 5'1".
I think she's 5'1". Exactly. I think that's her height, to be honest with
I
you.
mean, her frame is small.
Right.
So can you imagine F?
No. So she did say, so in the People magazine, first of all, they had a friggin' typo in this magazine cover. It said nose bob instead of nose job.
Okay.
Right on
can
the
I
cover.
tell you? I've seen that cover a million times. I remember seeing
noticed it
at the grocery store with my mom. I never noticed it said nose bob.
And I had to look up a few times because I was like, maybe this one they were trying to be funny and somebody changed it. Photoshop. No. Nose bob.
They all say nose bob. They
may have like retracted, like they may have printed so many and then printed more that say nose job, but this definitely said nose bob. $3,000, breast job, $8,000, inner thighs, $5,000. Actress Soleil Moon Frye hated her body until she had breast reduction surgery at 15. Thousands of kids are changing their lips, hips, chins, and thighs. Are they happy? And is it healthy? You know what, people? She gave you that exclusive story. And that's what you're going to write on the cover?
Right.
Like, for real? That's what you're going to write?
That's
ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I did not like the cover at all. I did not like it. And I remember not liking it when I read it.
No, but I will say she looked gorgeous on the cover.
She did. Incredibly. Did I already say that it was 6 hours of surgery? Because that's a lot. 6 hours.
No, you did not say that, but it is a lot.
And can we talk about Jonathan Brandis?
Oh my God.
Seriously, you guys. Just seeing his mannerisms with her and he looked like the sweetest, nicest guy. Like, and we don't know because we don't, but I mean, he just looked in like enamored. Is that the word I'm looking for of her? Just that he loved her. He really did love her. He would tell her he loved her and they would talk about getting married and having kids and having a family,
Yeah.
It's just so sad. It's just so sad.
It's so sad.
And he died in 2003 by suicide, unfortunately.
I remember that. That was awful. It was like, I just remember being shocking. It's always shocking. It's never something that you can take.
Hold on. I got to take a drink. Circle. But yeah, I don't know. It just really, seeing him like that and her talking about him really hit hard. It hit home.
I was going to say it hit home.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Then I have in my notes that she moved to New York City, and I loved that she took video of herself doing her voicemail message with a tape because you could hear it like play, She was like doing like what we all did. I did it. I don't know if you did it, Brooke, but like to play that song in the background and then do your message. Yep. Divine.
It was.
And I love
it had
that
to be just right.
I love that she had those Adidas bags because I had 2 of them. When she was like, I still
Piling
have
them
one.
on.
I still have one. I took it on the cruise. It's a big, huge green Adidas bag. It's the best bag. You can fit tons of crap in it. Yeah, it was amazing. So she moved in with her friend Matt Boren, I think his name is, and I think he's an actor. And their toilet was disgusting.
That was gross.
Even I don't know how we kept our toilets clean, but I don't think our toilets ever looked like that.
No, never.
No, because I think we eventually like cleaned it.
We would clean it.
Yeah.
Not like, it's not like we did it every Sunday.
No.
But we would clean it enough so that it never looked like that.
Oh my gosh, I was like, wow.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So then she talks a little bit about the skate scene. Like, not the skate scene that we know that you'd go roller skate scene, but the skater scene. And it was these guys that were in the movie Kids that like they were actually kind of like their characters in Kids, I guess. Sorta.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, I mean, they were, because they were like skaters and they were like city kids. I mean, that's not really a term, but it kind of fits.
Right.
I don't know if they were, and honestly, we'd have to do more research about the movie Kids and how they did their casting.
Right.
But I feel like, I don't know this, but I feel like I remember seeing something or reading something that like when they cast that movie, like Rosario Dawson was in the movie, but
yes,
they like found her like randomly. It wasn't like she went in for a casting call.
Right.
But I think that's how they did it with a lot of the cast, because they wanted it to be real, like portray real, whatever.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that they did a good job. I mean, that movie, I watched it once and I was like, I'm good, because it was disturbing.
It was very, very disturbing.
Even as a child watching it, because it came out in 1995.
I don't think I watched it until I was probably like 17 or so.
Same,
so that would have been like 97.
Same.
I think I rented it.
We probably watched it together. Who knows? But
I'm sure we did.
And then what is it? Chloe Sevigny?
I can't say her name, but
I can't say her last name.
Sevigny.
Yes, because I'd never heard of her either until she came into Kids. But she said that it was all about blunts and 40s in her apartment. And like they were family. And I just thought that was really neat that she was just like, I'm going to be part of the skater scene.
I'm going to be friends with these guys.
Yeah. She just were like, I'm going
to take them in and we're going to hang out and we're going to chill.
Right. And Harold lived in her closet.
So do you remember the guy? This is random, but do you remember when we lived on Cumberland Street? The guy that would come over, that he came over like a couple times. You'd see him around, but he looked like Harold.
Okay. I think I do. I think I do remember. Yes.
I just remember, like, I don't remember who brought him home. Like, I don't know if it was you that like invited him in, or if it was Robbie.
Maybe.
But somehow I just remember, like, he was a guy that we would see, like, literally, like, on the streets of Bangor. He wasn't homeless, but he was just like, you just see him walking.
He was a street kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looked like Harold. And then one day, I don't know if I came home or if I was home and then he just walked in the door. Or whatever. But I remember him being in our apartment. I'm like, what are you doing here? Who are you? And it was fine. Like, it was cool. But anyway, it always makes me laugh. It makes me want to text Darcy and be like, hey, Darcy, you remember when that guy that looks like the guy from Kids was like in our apartment?
You should ask her, because it's like kind of ringing a bell, but like,
and I think really. I think that he passed away.
Oh, you think so?
I think he did. I think I remember that.
Well, Harold passed away.
I know. Sad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew that Justin Pierce did.
Yes.
I don't think I knew that Harold did.
So, Justin died by suicide, and Harold died from a cocaine-induced heart attack.
God.
Justin died in 2000 and Harold died in 2006.
It's so sad.
Very sad. Now, this is off topic, but on topic.
Mm-hmm.
At 52 minutes and 6 seconds, Soleil is wearing the Argyle sweater.
Okay, so I didn't know. Is that the Argyle
I think
sweater?
It is. It might be like a different color combination, but I believe it is the Argyle sweater. I do believe.
Because I saw that and I was like, my sweater.
Yes. That I would. Brooke, I don't know if you guys ever did this, and I was talking to Kevin about this, but Brooke would never borrow my clothes, but I would borrow her clothes all the time. And it was kind of neat that we were the same size.
Yeah.
You know, like you, Darcy, and I were all the same size.
Like we could never share pants because you were way taller.
No, I couldn't share pants.
But we could share like tops and dresses.
Right. I think like when it came to like athletic wear, you would wear a lot of my stuff because I had a lot of it.
Yes.
Like you'd wear my wind pants and my shorts.
Yes,
stuff like that.
I love your mesh shorts.
Yes. But I would wear your like dresses because we always had to dress up for basketball, right. And dresses were expensive. And I only had like a couple. And when you're in high school, you have a lot of more games than you did in middle school. So Brooke would let me borrow her dresses and stuff and dress outfits. But yeah, like we would borrow clothes all the time. But like today, people are so widely different sized, or maybe I'm just noticing it because Bryn is so tall and you know she's just a different size. Like
right,
she's not big by any means, but
no
just, you know, I just remember us sharing stuff all the time, like freshman, sophomore, junior year we would share.
We would.
Senior year
we
probably.
did.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of like dress up type of dress up clothes, but like dresses and skirts and stuff because I worked
right
at the restaurant and I had to dress up, and my dad would buy me them because he was so proud I had a job.
That's amazing. I love that. I remember that so well.
I love that.
So
Dad,
also,
I need a new dress for work. Okay, let's go to the mall.
Peter, is it BC or Bicky or I don't know. He was in Kids too. He's handsome.
Yes.
Skater.
Yes, very.
Hello.
Very.
Hello.
I remember thinking so then.
Yeah, very handsome. So then let me see. Okay, it's a little bit of a serious part. She says, how often do we say how are you and actually listen and like hear them back?
Can I tell you? That like hit me hard.
That hit me. If
I was going to cry, that would have made me cry, but I didn't cry. But it would have.
It did. I've been very lucky, knock on wood, that I don't know anyone very, very closely. I knew somebody that has died by suicide, but I feel like I don't know how I would feel. I really don't. I don't know how I would feel. I guess I would probably feel a little bit like, was there anything I could do to prevent that, you know? But she's
exactly
right. She's right. I mean, how often do you ask somebody, oh, how are you? Are you really listening to them? Like, are you really? I mean, I feel like I do a lot, but there are often instances where I'm just like, you know, I say it out of politeness, like, how are you?
You know, I feel like that people say that as a greeting, not as much as no, really, how are you?
Right.
But I feel like also just by watching this, I am going to do a better job of asking that and actually genuinely meaning.
Same.
Like, I want to know how you are. Like, how are you doing?
Right. Same.
And if I'm not prepared to sit and have that conversation with somebody, I'm not going to say, how you doing?
Right.
I'm going to say, hello.
Right. Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because you know, but like when we're talking about friends and stuff, although I feel like this is going to sound kind of weird, but I feel like when you and I talk,
yeah,
like I don't have a lot of friends. I mean, I do, but I don't. Do you know what I mean?
No, you have your close friends that you've weathered with and are here for the storm. You know what I mean? Like they're true, what they say, like tried and true. Yeah.
And I feel like if I say to them, like, how are you? And if they say to me, how are you? I actually feel like you want to know.
Correct. 100%. It's different depending on, like when I talk to you, if I ask you how you're doing, it's going to be a two-way conversation because I really, truly want to know how you're doing.
Right.
I honestly don't think I've ever asked somebody, now that I'm like really, really thinking about this, unless it was like in like TJ Maxx, like,
right,
oh, hey,
right.
how you doing? Like that's the only time. If I'm like texting somebody or Facebook messaging somebody and I ask you how you're doing, I truly mean it. And I truly am listening to you. Tell me how you're doing.
Right.
I don't do it often. And also I feel like, especially like in these times, if somebody asks me how I'm doing, it might be a loaded question. So
I feel like that would be, I feel like that's true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I get it. But it's interesting. It's just, I'm glad she said it.
Me too.
I'm glad she said that because I feel like I need to be more mindful of that.
Right. One person we forgot about in the very beginning was Danny Boy O'Connor, I think his last name is, from House of Pain.
I loved that.
And he was a lot older too. But they had
how old is he?
They had a different kind of relationship. Hold on, I have that in my notes. Let me see. I swear I have it in my notes because I remember looking him up because it said like not Donald, but Daniel O'Connor. Let's look, guys. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I totally like went to the wrong page because we didn't talk about any of this, and like we're towards the end. Okay. He was born in 1968, so he's now 52. So he was quite a bit older than she was. 11 years, same as like Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah.
About the same.
About the same.
Well, Charlie Sheen was 65 and he is 68. So 3 subtract 11 is 8. Yes. So it wasn't that bad. So going back into the thing, she was on this show called the Beyond Vaudeville Program. And I'm like, I have never seen this in my life. Like, what is this? So I had to look it up. And it was a show that ran on New York City Public Access. And it ran from 1986 to 1996. So we got to ask our New York City friends like Jackie, does she remember watching this?
Yeah, totally.
And what they would do, it was a variety show with like amateur like talents. And they also focused on nostalgia inducing celebrities. So that's why she was on it. So
that's cool.
I was like, what is this weird thing? What is this weird
what is this weird thing?
Yes.
I think that's cool. I think that, yes, any New York City friends, listeners, let us know if you remember that, if you watched it.
She says something like, I say like, don't say no to drugs, but now I say yes, or something like that. She had pigtails in the video.
She like was dressed up as her like Punky Brewster persona.
Right. And
I thought that was so normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's not. But I know like
it's kind of normal for us. So
yeah. I mean, we were exposed to that kind of stuff.
I mean, we weren't doing heroin and stuff like that. I've never seen anybody do cocaine, but I've heard people tell me that they did cocaine.
Yep.
I think it was like kind of a normal, what do you say? Like, it's just something you're exposed to at a certain age.
At least we are.
We were.
I'm sure some people were not.
Right. I'm
and
sure.
Maybe it depends on where you live.
I'm sure.
Where you grew up, your school, obviously your friends.
Right. Like we said before.
But we were friends with everyone.
Right. In the very beginning, you do a lot of stuff when you're late teens, early 20s. Like I would hate to be judged for anything that I did in my late teens, early 20s, because
100%.
I was trying to find myself. And I feel like that's what she was trying to do too. She was hanging out with like all kinds of different people and, just testing the waters, really, living life
right.
and doing what she wanted to do. Another thing about Brian Austin Green that really like hit home and made me very sad was that he's like, there was an article that they put up and they called him the poor man's Vanilla Ice. And I was like, no, Brian Austin Green is not that.
Was that in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. So here's some more people that were in the. Sasha Jensen recognized him immediately. Did not know what from. And he was in Dazed and Confused. I was surprised.
Okay.
Because you just did it now and then because I was like, Brooke's gonna know who he is.
The name was really familiar, but yeah.
But he was a lot older too. He was born in 1964, so he's 57 now. But he was in a show that I absolutely loved, which was called Teen Angel. And it made its debut on the Mickey Mouse Club. And it was with Jason Priestley.
Yeah. And oh my God, yes.
I friggin' loved it. When we had Mickey Mouse Club for a very short period of time, and it was like that, like 89, 90, 91.
Well, that was so good though. That was like really good years.
Right.
In my opinion.
And then we got it back a little bit when JC was on, because I remember JC being on.
I remember you and I we watched it after he was like who he was.
Oh,
after NSYNC.
Maybe.
I remember watching it in your parents' room. Yeah.
Maybe. Also, I couldn't find any information on Tori Leonard. When I would Google it, it would come up with this real estate broker from Kennebunkport, Maine. So, and I don't think that was her. No. Leonardo DiCaprio was in this movie, and he was awfully handsome and awfully cute. He just looked like a cute boy.
Just young,
adorable. He was born in 1974, so he was was he older or younger than her?
Older.
She was born in
1976, right?
1976, and he was born in 1974. Well, because like the way that it seemed like he was like the little brother. You know what I mean? Like
right. And probably just because he looks younger.
He looks really young. Jenny Lewis recognized her immediately.
Yes. Same.
Couldn't remember again where she was from, but she is from True Beverly Hills.
What?
I thought you were gonna True Beverly Hills and The Wizard.
I love The Wizard so much.
Love that movie.
If you've listened to this podcast, you know I've talked about it. I love that movie.
Funny when I don't know who was talking to the police officer, the highway patrolman. I think it was Soleil. I don't know, but they were asking her. They're like, "Do you have anything on you?" And she's like, "Weapons."
Weapons.
I don't know. She was just being funny.
No, like paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Like drugs?
Like drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And weapons.
I got some of that too.
Yeah. It was funny. And then seeing like Mark McGrath, like before he was like famous in Sugar Ray, that was pretty cool.
I didn't see him in that. I didn't notice him.
Yeah, he had a part in it. Yeah.
I didn't. Maybe I did, and I questioned it actually. I don't remember.
They showed him, and then they showed Michael Rappaport, who I love.
I do remember seeing Michael Rappaport, and I love Michael Rappaport.
I just love everything about him. And I love how she was asking everybody their philosophy on life, because she asked this to Corey Feldman. She asked this to a lot of people, including Stephen Dorff's brother, who passed away.
Yeah. 2016.
Yeah, due to mysterious circumstances. I did look it up. They were mysterious, very mysterious.
That's weird.
And he was a country music songwriter, which is amazing.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Like he was written songs for some famous country musicians. I can't name them because I don't really know many, but I recognized the names when I read them. So yeah, that was sad. They had a tribute to him too at the end of the movie. Then Joshua Miller, who again, immediately I was like, he looks so familiar. What is he from?
Yeah. What was he from?
He was from Teen Witch. He was the brother.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like an author now. And he's a director and a screenwriter, but he's around the same age too. And then she asked the same question to Corey Feldman, who we talked about. He was hanging out with him. He is 49. He's kind of in that in between Charlie Sheen and Punky. I keep calling her Punky. Soleil. They were like he was like in between them. But Kevin Connolly, hello. Always loved Kevin Connolly. Always loved him.
Not my type.
Absolutely loved him in Entourage. I
never saw that.
I still haven't finished Entourage because it gave me such anxiety, which is stupid. But it gave me anxiety, you guys. Like, I don't know. It's such a good show, though. It's so awesome. I love it. He was also in The Notebook and a lot of like 2000s movies.
Yes, I do remember him in The Notebook. I
couldn't really remember him anything before that. And I looked and I couldn't really find anything earlier than that stuff. So I don't know if he was just like amongst the friends, maybe did some like TV shows. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love it when they went to Six Flags Magic Mountain because I've been there.
I've not been there, but I thought it was cool, just like filming, like typical teenagers.
Yes, that's like something we would do.
I mean, they weren't typical teenagers, but like typical teenagers.
Right. Exactly. I couldn't find anything on Sean Caracina. I couldn't find anything on him. All I know is that he passed away in 2013 or 2003. Googled him and I couldn't really find much information on him. Most of the information I found was stuff like recently, since the documentary has come out, of people saying they can't find much information on him. So
okay.
Then I stopped because I was like, obviously these people can't find information. I probably can't either.
Right.
David Arquette was in this. He has a little thing. He talks a little bit about heroin and like how it probably prevented him from dying because he would like do a little bit. He was talking about how he did crack, stuff like that.
Right.
He'd do a little bit of it, then he'd stop and he wouldn't do it. And then he'd do a little bit again and then he'd stop and wouldn't do it. He's like, that probably prevented me from dying. He's like, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it prevented me from dying. And
crazy.
Then they all take mushrooms and they record it. And I thought that was funny.
In the field and
the ladybugs.
Were those ladybugs?
Yeah. They were ladybugs and then the raindrops. And she said like, she was basically like getting to know her car. I thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny. The guy from Jane's Addiction, Perry Farrell. I didn't know that what is his name?
Perry Farrell. I always said Farrell.
Farrell. He was the founder of Lollapalooza.
He was.
Did not know that. That is so interesting.
I remember that just from my 90s heyday of reading Spin magazine.
Yeah. Also, when they show her with Danny Boy O'Connor. Mm-hmm. It's O'Connor, not O'Connell. She gets a tattoo, and I want to know what the tattoo was because they didn't show it. So Soleil,
I wonder what it was.
If you're listening,
reach out to us.
Just kidding.
I would love to have her on.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? That would be amazing.
It'd be like a dream.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Her smoking was like, it just, every time I saw her smoke, I would like chuckle because it's like Punky Brewster smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure she got that a lot.
Probably.
Rodney Harvey, they showed a little bit. He was in The Outsiders as well, in My Own Private Idaho, which I think I saw a long time ago, like it was on HBO or something.
Yeah, yeah.
He passed away in 1998 due to drug overdose. Did not know that. I didn't really know Rodney Harvey, but his name appeared a couple times throughout this. And then like we've already talked about the Bronco chase, and she starts talking about she drank whatever anybody gave her. And there's this conversation she has with somebody. Their voice is obviously, I think, has been altered.
Yeah. So you can't tell.
So you don't know who it is. So it's somebody we probably would recognize. I'm not going to take any guesses. But of them saying to her. She's like, she remembers drinking, but she was drinking ginger ale. And then all of a sudden she was on her doorstep. Like, she doesn't remember anything. And the guy's like, yeah, you were drinking. She's like, no, really, I don't think I was. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she got date raped, drugged, like,
yeah,
roofied. So then she starts talking about this guy because she was very proud of being a virgin and waiting for that special person. And she goes through something I feel like as women, we all wondered if we would be put in that situation. Especially like as a teenager, I always thought, like, what if I get into the situation and I decide that I don't want to do it? It was kind of, I don't know if taboo is the word, but it was kind of like back when we were there as teenagers in our teenager minds. I'm not saying now, because this is absolutely untrue now, but I feel like we would have thought, well, we put ourselves in that situation, so it's kind of our fault, when it's not. Absolutely not. Correct. And I feel like she was kind of going through the motions of realizing that as an adult, that she was put in that situation and she blamed herself for it. And he was a dick. I'm sorry. But what he said, like, after it happened, and you guys watch it, it's very brief.
You'll know what we're talking about. Yeah.
He like says, so how does it feel not to be a virgin anymore? When she came walking out and he wouldn't even look at her. And I'm just like,
he was like sitting there watching TV.
Right.
That's awful.
Yeah. Then she starts talking about Charlie Sheen. And then we see Jonathan Silverman, who I always loved.
I did too.
He's so cute. Weekend at Bernie's. And Dana Ashbrook. He was in Twin Peaks. And then David Arquette again. And then Shannon Wilsey, which she was friends with him. And I didn't know that she's a porn actress. She was a porn actress.
Oh.
And she also died by suicide after she was in a car accident. It was very strange circumstances there too. And she was dating Pauly Shore at the time. He was with her when she passed, but it was just very strange circumstances. Very sad. Very sad. And then basically they go back and she says something. She's like, life is beautiful and it's messy and it's complicated. And it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
But it's also really good. You've got to always remember that, like, life is precious, and be thankful like you woke up this morning. That's how I live my life. You guys don't need to live your life by that, but that's how I do. She goes and visits Danny, who's living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I was like, really?
That's random. I mean, maybe he's has roots there. I don't know. But
he says the reason why he's there is because he loves it, because it's like what he needed.
Right.
Because he got into drugs right after him and Soleil were close. He went down a very dark road. And now he's doing great. He looks great. He looks wonderful.
He looks great. Yeah.
He's very handsome. Yeah. It was neat seeing him again. And I just...
that was really cool.
Yeah, actually, it was really
whole
neat.
Meeting.
I'm not going to cry. Just nope. I'm telling myself this right now, because this really, at the end of the movie, it really hit home, and I cried.
What?
Twice.
When
she's talking to Brian.
Yeah.
And.
Oh yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was like, are things really what they seemed like? Like, my memories, are they right? Like, that we were really good friends. And
yeah,
you are defined, like you are growing as a person. The reason why I feel like we remember so many things from our past and we discuss them, and like we're doing on our podcast, and we want to reminisce about it, is because those are the defining moments that really like shaped us as human beings, individuals. And a lot of the friendships I had did the same thing. And sometimes I wonder, did it mean as much to them as it did to me? As
it did to you. Right.
Because I'm just going to put this out there, and I don't care, because it's the truth. And if this person hears it, it's what happened. But I had a friend that I thought we were very, very close, like exceptionally close, tell me that to my face. Thankfully, I'm glad that she did. Told me to my face, and I'll never forget it. That we weren't as good as friends as what I thought we were. Like, so we weren't as good as friends as what I thought we were, and that hurt. And it made me question all of my friendships that I had with people, because when I'm friends with them, I put my heart and soul into everything, and I don't take it lightly. Even acquaintances, I feel like really aren't acquaintances for me.
No,
you friends.
Right.
You know,
I feel like you don't have acquaintances.
So I do have acquaintances, like, but not a whole lot.
No.
That really hits home to me because I feel the same way. And I cried when she said that, because again, that pain of that person telling me that came back. And again, I was like, well, I wonder if I really meant as much to those people as they still mean to me.
I think about that. I think about that a lot. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I think about that a lot. It's weird, but I think about, like, even on a smaller scale, but I think, like, does this person remember that, like, we sat next to each other in study hall in 10th grade and that we used to talk every day?
Right.
Like, do they remember some of the conversations we had? Because I do.
Right.
Do they think about that?
Right. And
so
I hope to God that I have always been a nice person. I'm sure there are times that I wasn't. Right. And I hope that didn't define me to them. But I know there are people I still think about very often, a lot. And I'm pretty sure they don't think about me.
But you don't know that.
I don't know that. But
you don't know that.
I don't know that. But I'm sure you guys can relate. There's friends that you have that were a big part of your life at some point. And sometimes I wonder if I just reached out to them and I would say, hey, you were a big part of my life. It's like you can't do that with people. Like, it's not.
You can do that with people, but you have to be prepared for them to be like, huh?
Right. And I don't think
you're not prepared.
I think I'd be better off not knowing than knowing.
Yep. No, I agree.
So
I agree.
It's good to think about it, but I think you're 100% right in that. You can handle those things a lot better than I can.
I could. And there are people I know I could reach out to and I could say, listen, you meant something to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be fine if they were like, you mean shit to me.
Right.
And but I genuinely, I would be like, all right, like, it's not personal. It's just the way of the world.
Right.
But I know that you can't look at it that way.
No.
And it's just,
Yeah. So it's like something I think about, but I don't think I'd want to know the truth, because I think it's happier for me to think that way than know the truth.
Yeah.
And Soleil said this to the guy from Jane's Addiction, and I said this before. Do you think things happen the way that we truly remembered them? And I think sometimes our minds sugarcoat things a little bit more, or
we romanticize things in our head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To something that maybe wasn't a huge thing, but it was still huge to us, and it helps us process life. So I think whatever you feel happened is true to you. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Might not be true to the other person, but it was true to you, and it actually happened, and those are the feelings you felt, and that to that. So honestly, I think that's all I had in my notes. Mark Wahlberg was brought up.
Mark Wahlberg was brought up, and there was a picture of him and her
kissing.
Yep.
Kissing.
So, you guys, all the little things that there's a lot of little things that we didn't even mention or talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure like Nikki watched it twice. I watched it once. If I were to watch it again, there'll be other things I'll pick up on.
Oh, for
but
sure.
You need to watch it.
For sure.
You need to go watch it if you haven't already.
You do.
Kid90.
If you had a childhood or teen years, I romanticize those years of my life.
Yeah, you do. And I do too.
And I have to say that I know the reason why I do that. And it's different for everybody. I
think it's normal though.
I think you're right, because people wouldn't be listening to us right now if they didn't like talking about their past or thinking about their past to a certain extent. I mean, I'm sure there's some shit that's happened to all of us, that
we'd rather not
think about. But it's these like fun moments of life and lessons that we learned and people that we met along the way that like it made me think about those things while watching this. So I think it's really important that you watch it. So
yeah.
That's
it. I think that I want to hear what all y'all think.
Right.
So you should find tweet at us or email us or whatever. But when we post the episode, you could just comment right below on like the Twitter.
Yeah, I'd also like to hear you guys' answer to the question that Soleil was asking everybody. What's your philosophy on life? Tweet it to us. We'd like to know.
At so-called whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Well, I know this was a little bit longer than we had thought it was going to be, but I think we covered some really cool things that we've never covered before on the podcast. So
totally. So I hope you guys enjoyed.
I hope you did too. And we love you guys. And we appreciate that you guys take time out of your day to listen to us. We appreciate that.
For real.
So
faux show.
And we have some things in the works, some fun stuff happening with some other people you guys may know.
Right. And you may or may not have heard some things.
Right. So we're doing some fun stuff to bring some more fun to you guys, pretty much. And you'll be hearing more about it as the days roll on. So I can't tell you exactly right now, but we'll be able to tell you soon. So stay tuned and be listening and watching. All right.
So thanks, guys.
Send your stories.
And mysocallwhatever@gmail.com.
We'll be loving you forever
and ever. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.